So, now that we have seen sequences, we should also see footwork, because if I want to make the transition from one skill to another, usually in tennis I have to move from one position to another. So, what about footwork? What are the basic mechanisms there? I have to decide first if the basic movement pattern is walking or running or side steps. We have a guiding principle to make this decision. This guiding principle are the universal reference points. So the universal reference points are related to the target, okay, in every instance. So this makes us think that it's better to base our footwork on the universal reference points, therefore going towards the ball, like walking or running, and not with side steps. One other thing that I have to take into consideration is, of course, the kinetic chain. So, if I start with the leg that's behind me, I should finish in the leg that's in front of me, towards the path of the ball, of course. There are two paths, two lines, the ball's and mine going towards the ball. These two lines should create an angle that is as obtuse as possible, not acute, obtuse. Okay, so this is another thing I have to take into consideration. It's not optimal to hit a ball staying on my back foot. Okay, so let's combine all these. And let's take a very simple example. I have to go to the right. Usually the ball is somewhere to the other side of me. So the best way to go to a side of mine is to use the same leg. For example, if I want to go to my right, I will use my right leg and go to the right, and I will not use my left leg to make the first step towards the right. Okay, so I check, and even if I do a very small movement, it's with the right leg. So the first movement is with the leg of the same side. So, taking all this into consideration, I will choose to make pairs of steps, starting with the leg that is of the same side as the stroke is. For example, in my right I have forehands. Okay, so I will do either 2, 4, or maybe 6. In real situations, it's not really practical to do more than 6 steps, and if I have to do 6 steps, then the ball is so far away from me that I can't really use the correct patterns. So I'm anyway trying just not to lose the point. It's very different to try to win the point versus trying not to lose the point. Let's see that in action. Okay, so by doing just 2 steps, okay, 1, 2, I'm already almost halfway. Okay, by doing 4 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have almost reached the sideline. 6 steps, I can even hit extremely wide balls. Okay, so from then on, if I have to hit a ball here, okay, I'm just trying to stay in the game. Okay. Okay, of course, if I happen to start my movement from here, that's not the center of the court, then the same applies. Okay, so 1, 2. Okay, so we measure things from where we begin, not from the center of the court, of course. Okay, so the simplest way to do this is move according to the universal reference point. So in forehand drive, this is a universal reference point. So the basic mechanism for footwork is moving straight ahead and not to the side. The side is an extra, it needs more freedom degrees, so it's for later on. So I could start with, we already have seen taking 1 step, but that's not a pair of steps, so that's not considered footwork. We say the definitions, we define things, and then we stick to the definition. So this is not footwork, okay? This is footwork. 1, 2, okay? But this is not footwork. When I count the swing, it's 1, 2, 3. And I have to count 2 steps or 4 steps. The way to do that, if I want to combine those two, is to add something else, which is very, very important. If I'm not counting, okay, I'm just showing you something. If I just do this, trying to coordinate my swing with my last step, I will do something like this. Okay, this is not optimal, because when I'm hitting the ball, I'm actually not going upwards. I'm not pushing, I'm not exhausting the capacities, the capabilities the kinetic chain gives to me. I'm not producing the whip effect very effectively. So what I have to add is one more segment, one more part, which is not a step but a jump. So it's like when I reach the final step, I have also to jump. So this jump might be, of course, leaving the ground fully, or just going very, very up to my toes. So this would be when I do 2 steps, okay? So I don't count my legs, I count my arm, okay? The swing. 1, 2, 3. 4 steps. 1, 2, 3. Okay. The same applies, of course, to the backhand, where, because the universal reference point is, for example, here, okay, this is where I start my movement and not this. Okay, this is for later on, okay. So, I do 2 steps with a 3 swing count, like this. So, I will, because when I'm in the starting position, my left leg is to that side, so here also I start with my left leg, so if I'm right-handed. So, I count my swing, 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. 1, 2, 3. So it should be crystal clear, okay? No confusion at all. Okay, so of course the same applies to making 6 steps, okay? Okay, and jump. And the more I go diagonically, at some point, okay, I would have passed from the model of going towards the net to the model of going sideways. This is not the same for everybody. Again, this is a transitional point, and one guideline of the digital method says always study something at the transitional point. So we should find when do the kinematics of our athlete change. They could change at 45 degrees. So in 45 degrees, in 46 degrees, the model he uses is like running forward straight towards the net, okay? And at, let's say, 40 degrees, it's like going to the side. It's a different model, okay? So the transition between these 2 transitional points should be fluid, okay? There should not be a difference. The example I usually give is like when the pianist plays octaves, okay? So if he plays slowly, you will see that his hand uses one kinesiology. As he puts on speed, from a very specific speed on, he changes the way he moves his hand. But we can just see that. We don't hear that. We hear no transition at all.